This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Dude, everybody's using the iPad Pro now.
A real artist is
I
only
would
gonna
not
use
trust
Wacom.
these cheap
Real
knockoff
artists only
tablets.
trust Wacom.
Professional
Those are
artists
just
use this.
animation.
Alright, stop. Listen here. There is no such thing as what you need to be a real artist. And I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna go online right now and I'm gonna buy the cheapest graphics tablet that I can find. And then I'm gonna take a sketch and I'm going to take it to a finished piece of artwork. And I'm gonna put this debate to rest once and for all. I'm gonna regret this. I review tech here, tech for creative people, and I get a lot of cool, expensive toys coming into my office that I get to use, so it could be easy to see what I do on a weekly basis and think, wow, I need the latest, greatest graphics and drawing tech in order to make good art. But that's just not true. Yeah, it's great to know how many levels of pressure sensitivity something has or how good a screen is, but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is skill and practice and that sort of thing. And any kind of entry-level tablet should be able to do the job, right? Well, let's find out. By the end of this, I'm gonna prove to you that I can be just as mediocre on an inexpensive tablet as I can be on an expensive one. And I'm probably gonna regret this. I have a sketch. I chose a sketch that is pretty detailed because I don't wanna just draw something really quick and easy. I want to draw something that I might use in a comic book page. I have a cartoony, clean ink style, so I'm very particular about the kind of lines that I'm producing with the graphics tablets that I'm using, and I'm hopefully gonna be able to show as I go through this video that I can do it on a pretty inexpensive tablet. And at the end of the day, I'm hoping that the quality of the artwork I produce is gonna be just as good as what I could have produced on my iPad Pro. Obviously, might like using one better than the other, but what we're talking about here is the end product, what you're actually able to create with it. I don't want this piece to be just okay. I want it to be good enough to show in my portfolio. Fortunately, today's sponsor, Squarespace, makes that super easy. I took it for a spin and built a website to showcase my work. And they have some really great templates. They're so easy to customize. They make a great starting point for whatever you want to create. I like the fiddle, so I really like that I could jump in and get really granular with the design. If you're showing off your work to potential clients or looking to land a full-time job, these templates look really professional. And if you really want to take it to the next level, you can set up your own custom domain or transfer one you already have. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/BradColbo to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Okay, first I need to find a really cheap tablet. I've got it narrowed down to two. I found this one. It's a little Huion. It is only $20, so I think this is the one that I'm gonna go with. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you with this, the Huion. Oh shoot, that was a bad noise. Oh, Brad. All right, so I went back to Amazon. I got myself another tablet, and I promise you this time I will be careful, I promise. All right, here we go. We got the new one here. Am I going to do a full review of this tablet? You know what? Here's my review. Don't slam it against your desk. 8 out of 10. What are we gonna find in the box? Let's open it up. What we have is a nice little thank you card from Huion saying thank you for buying this particular product. We got a pen, which now we have 2 of these pens, so just in case something happens to one, you never know. And here it goes. I'm gonna be really gentle with you this time. This is the Huion 420. This is the tiniest tablet I have ever seen. I am just gonna gently lay you off to the side. I might wanna get a pillow. Now the thing to know about these graphics tablets is that they are USB, so you're gonna need this USB cable to plug into your computer. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna use one of these pens to draw on this tablet, and these lines that you draw here are gonna show up on your computer screen in front of you. This also comes with some other things. Mostly these are just the instructions. We're gonna have to go online and find the drivers. Also, pen nibs wear out. These are tiny. I don't know if you can see these. Let me see if I can zoom in a little. Focus, buddy. These are some extra nibs and a little nib replacement thing so we can replace the nibs when our pen wears out. So we've got our tablet, we've got our pen. I think we're ready to go here.
first thing I want to point out here is that I am drawing in Photoshop that is part of Adobe's Creative Cloud suite. That's also very expensive. It's 50, 60 bucks a month. If you can't afford that, totally understand. There are some free applications out there, and I would check out one of my videos from a couple weeks ago where I talk about 5 free apps that are actually really good, like Krita and Medibang. And everything that I'm going to be doing here, I could do in those other applications just as easily. Now, when I look at this drawing, the very first thing that really jumped out to me was how hard it was to use this tablet at first because of its size. It really took a lot of adjusting on my end to get used to it. The live space on the graphics tablet, which is the actual area that you're drawing in, is 4 inches wide and about 2.2 inches deep. It's a little bit bigger than a credit card. I'd say about a third bigger than a credit card. So that gives you the idea of how small of an area you're drawing in. Also, what you see here is a 15-inch laptop. So you're taking something that's 4 inches wide and you're spreading it to something that's much, much bigger. So when I draw a line, if I draw a tiny little line on this tablet, it's gonna come out bigger on the screen above. Now, as I'm getting used to this led to a lot of inaccuracies. It led to a lot of wobbly lines. So what I did to offset that is in my drawing program, I zoomed way in. That's why you don't see me zooming out. A lot of illustrators will tell you, hey, you should zoom in out so you can see yourself drawing at a real scale. I don't think that's bad advice, but in this case, if you're drawing with something smaller to offset some of the problems you might have doing that, zooming in isn't bad at all. The other thing that happens on a smaller tablet like this is I found myself drawing with my wrist a lot more instead of using my whole arm, because my whole arm was making bigger movements than I wanted to make, whereas my wrist and my fingers were giving me more control over the smaller area that I was drawing in. And again, yet another reason for me to zoom in to get those details right and to get better line quality out of this thing. And through most of the inking process, that was the main thing that I was dealing with. In fact, by the end of the inking process, I was feeling so much more comfortable drawing on this than I was at the beginning, where I had wobbly lines, I wasn't sure what I was doing, and if I had to go back and use this as, say, a portfolio piece, I would probably erase the first couple lines I did, especially the lines on that character, and just redraw that person. When you zoom out, those lines look fine, and it actually adds to the character a little bit. Another thing worth pointing out is this particular tablet, since it's a low-end tablet, only has 2,000 levels of pressure sensitivity. A lot of the new stuff that's coming out has way more than that. It has like 8,000 levels of pressure. And if you just look at those numbers, you might think, wow, is that enough? But I can assure you it absolutely is. I think pressure sensitivity is probably one of the most overrated stats on drawing equipment today. I remember when the original Surface Pro 3 came out and had the pen with it, it only had like 1,000, maybe it was 500 levels of pressure. And honestly, even back then, so many years ago, that was okay. So I wouldn't let 2,000 levels of pressure sensitivity dissuade you. There was plenty of pressure for what I needed to do here. Now, once I got to the coloring phase, I found it to be a lot easier. Now, part of that is at this point, I had been using the tablet for a half hour, 45 minutes. So I had gotten used to drawing on it. But the other part of it is with color, I just don't have to be as accurate. I mean, I want to color within the lines, but you have the edge of the line to get up to. And if I overshoot from time to time, which I do in a lot of times, especially when I'm coloring in big areas, I'm not too worried about it because I know I'm going to go back in when I fill in some of the other areas and get some of those details just right. Now, overall, what I'm doing with this is I'm using a lot of mid-tone colors, even darker colors in some places than I otherwise would have, and I'm using a lighter color in the background. And when this is all said and done, I'm going to end up going back in and adding a big shadow layer, basically creating a new layer, drawing in it with all black to create my shadow, and then reducing the opacity. I don't exactly want it to look like a silhouette perfectly. I still want you to be able to see the details, but I want to get the benefit of a really strong silhouette with this character and the little critter that he's scanning on the rock. By the end of this, my hand was pretty tired. I found that I'm not used to drawing with my wrist and my fingers so much and doing those tiny details. I'm used to drawing on the larger screen. Again, another thing that I'd have to get used to and not clench my pen quite so tight when I'm drawing. But overall, I am really happy with how this turned out. And I think if I had shown this to an older version of myself from the past, I wouldn't know that this wasn't done on an iPad or a larger Cintiq tablet. I hope that helps. I know a lot of you folks are just starting out and you're just trying to get a hold of this digital art thing, and some of this can be intimidating and also a little bit confusing at times. So I wanted to thank you guys for watching to the end. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in a couple of days.